Hello, once again, we're continuing with the last week of Jesus' life. This is video number 5. It will be part 1 and 2. This is the leading of the restoration that Jesus will bring because of the rise of wickedness in humanity. In this lesson, we're talking about the decline of humanity through sin. Genesis 6, verses 5 and 6 says, "And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart." So this verse describes the moral decline of humanity before the flood, showing the pervasive wickedness that led God to take action. So the first account we're going to discuss is the sons of God and the daughters of men. This is found in Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 and 2, and it reads, "And it came to pass when men became to multiply on the face of the earth, and the daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he is also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. And this continues in the book of Enoch, chapter 6, verses 1 and 2. It says, "And it came to pass when the children of men had multiplied, and in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of the heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said one to another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children." So we see here that, like I said before in the past, Satan always tried to mimic everything God does. Now the fallen angels, which are demons, wants to themselves begot children, earthly children. So the book of Enoch describes the fallen angels as the watchers who took human wives, leading to a corrupt language. And furthermore, decay among humanity, it brought further moral decay. However, God decides to send the flood. Genesis 6:7 records, saying, "And the Lord said, I will destroy men whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air. For it repented me that I have made them." So God decides to cleanse the earth from its wickedness through the flood. The flood was a judgment. Genesis 7:21 and 23 states, "And all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of the fowl and of the cattle, and of beasts, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man, all in whose nostril was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land died." So this verse shows the details. It details the consequences of humanity's wickedness as God executed his judgment through the flood. After the flood, God established a covenant with Noah, promising never to destroy the earth with a flood again. We can read that in Genesis 9:11. It says, "And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off anymore." And God meaning by water. So the rise of wickedness continues with the Nephilims, the sons of God, the fallen angels who took human wives, giving birth to the Nephilims. Those are considered giants. When the women children grew up that they had with the fallen angels, those children became giants known as the Nephilim. And First Enoch 6:15 expands on how the 200 watchers, which were the fallen angels, descended and corrupted mankind with forbidden knowledge. They taught men many things. You could read those accounts in the beginning of the first book of Enoch, the knowledge that they taught men to do on the earth. However, in the book of Jubilees, chapter 5, verses 1 to 10, it says God sent the flood because of the Nephilim and mankind's sin. So the flood and Noah's covenant the flood wiped out all life except Noah's family. 8 people were saved. In Genesis 9:8-17, God makes a covenant with Noah, which symbolized by the rainbow. It's like when we see the rainbow, it reminds us and God that he will never again destroy the earth by flood. So 1 Enoch 67, 1-4 describes how fallen angels were imprisoned under the earth. That was their judgment until, of course, the day of final judgment when they go into their abode. Jubilees 7:20-25 states that after the flood, demon spirits of the Nephilim continued to influence humanity. However, wickedness still rised after the flood, and the next account was with the Tower of Babel. The incident reflects humanity's continued rebellion against God and the desire to make a name for themselves, leading to further divine intervention from God. This is what they said in Genesis 11:4. They said, "Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth." Genesis 11:1-9, Nimrod and his followers attempt to build a tower to heaven. And God confused their languages, scattering humanity into different nations. However, in Jubilees 10:18-26 mentioned that evil spirits influenced Nimrod to build the tower, and we know who that was, Satan himself. However, in the book of Jubilees 5:1-2 records, "And it was in the days of the son of Noah that they built the city and the tower, saying," like I just read, "Go, let us build, make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and they had asphalt for mortar." The book of Jubilees provides additional narrative on the events after the flood, showing the continued wickedness and rebellion against God. So I'm going to conclude this right here, and the next video, which will be part 2 of video 5, I'm going to show you how Satan uses the same influence that got him kicked out of heaven on humanity to bring us further away from God. Stay blessed and stay tuned.